Summary of the poem The Émigrée by Carol Rumens. The Émigrée by Carol Rumens is a poignant exploration of memory, identity, and the lasting impact of one's homeland, particularly when that homeland is lost due to political conflict or exile. The poem reflects the emotional journey of the speaker, an émigré, someone who has left their home country, who is reflecting on the vivid memories of their homeland, which remain untainted by the hardships it may have faced after their departure. The poem begins with the speaker recalling the country they left as a child, describing it in almost idyllic terms. The phrase "sunlight clear" suggests that the memories are bright, vivid, and pure. Despite being told that the country may have changed, perhaps fallen into war or been ruled by tyrants, the speaker clings to this idealized image of the country, one where sunlight represents clarity, warmth, and hope. Even in the face of grim news, this original, youthful perception of the country remains untarnished. As the poem progresses, the speaker contrasts their memories with the reality of the present. The white streets and graceful slopes of the city grow even more luminous in the speaker's mind, a contrast to the tanks of time that are described in the poem. This suggests that as time goes on, the speaker's memories become more distant and more romanticized, while reality, marked by the growing frontiers and walls, stands in contrast to the purity of those memories. The frontiers rise between us, close like waves, may symbolize both the physical and psychological distance between the speaker and their homeland, as well as the emotional barriers they face in a foreign land. The second stanza also delves deeper into the speaker's sense of linguistic and cultural loss. The hollow doll symbolizes a past version of the speaker, one who is disconnected from the language and identity of their homeland. The vocabulary they once carried seems now incomplete or inauthentic. However, there is a sense of hope and determination in the line, "I shall have every colored molecule of it." The speaker seems intent on reclaiming their language, which carries the essence of their homeland with it, even though they acknowledge that this language may now be banned by the state. The speaker's relationship with language and culture is still deeply tied to their memories of sunlight, of warmth, and of innocence. The third stanza shifts focus to the present reality of the speaker's life in exile. The white plane symbolizes both the distance between the speaker and their homeland as well as the way the homeland remains present in the speaker's mind, a symbolic plane that the speaker carries with them. The city of walls represents the physical and emotional barriers the speaker faces in their new home, perhaps a place that is both foreign and oppressive. The speaker is accused of absence, as if their emotional connection to their homeland makes them incomplete or wrong in the eyes of those who have never experienced exile. The final lines are haunting, as the speaker's shadow falls, serving as the only tangible evidence of their homeland's existence. This shadow, linked to the memory of sunlight, underscores the inescapable presence of the past, even in a foreign land. The structure of the poem is free verse, meaning there is no consistent rhyme scheme or meter. This reflects the fragmented and disjointed experience of exile, where the speaker's memories and their present reality are not neatly ordered. The poem is divided into 3 stanzas of varying length, with the first 2 stanzas focused on memory and loss, while the final stanza presents a more direct confrontation with the harshness of the present. The rhythm of the poem is also irregular, mirroring the speaker's emotional fluctuations between nostalgia, frustration, and longing. The use of enjambment, where sentences and thoughts spill over from one line to the next without pause, enhances the sense of continuous thought and feeling. The repetition of the word sunlight at the end of each stanza serves as a refrain, reinforcing the central theme of memory and the speaker's idealized vision of their homeland. The primary theme of the poem is the power of memory and the impact of displacement. The speaker's memories of their homeland are tied to a sense of beauty and light, which contrasts sharply with their present reality of exile and loss. The poem examines how memory can remain vivid and unchanging, even when the external circumstances of the homeland may be in turmoil. It also explores the sense of cultural and linguistic displacement, as the speaker struggles to maintain their identity in a foreign land. Ultimately, the poem highlights the emotional complexity of exile, how the past remains intertwined with the present, shaping the speaker's sense of self and belonging.
Line-by-line explanation of the poem The Émigrée by Carol Rumens.
Line 1. There once was a country. I left it as a child. In this opening line, the speaker reflects on their homeland, which they left when they were a child. The use of once suggests that the country may no longer exist in the same form, either due to political changes, war, or other forces. The speaker's departure as a child adds a sense of distance and nostalgia, framing their memories as being formed in a time of innocence and youth. This also sets the stage for the emotional tension between the idealized homeland of their memories and the reality they face now. Line 2. But my memory of it is sunlight clear. The speaker reveals that, despite leaving their homeland in childhood, their memory of it is vivid and clear, like sunlight. The phrase sunlight clear evokes a sense of purity and clarity, suggesting that their recollection is untainted and idealized. The use of sunlight also implies warmth, positivity, and an almost perfect vision of the past. This clarity of memory contrasts with the speaker's current distance from the homeland, emphasizing how powerful their early impressions are. Line 3. For it seems I never saw it in that November. Here, the speaker reflects on how they never witnessed their homeland in a darker, perhaps more difficult time, symbolized by the November. This line suggests that the speaker left before experiencing the struggles or hardships that the country might have faced, such as war, political unrest, or economic decline. The use of it seems implies that the speaker has no direct memory of this hardship, reinforcing the idea that their childhood memory is one of innocence and brightness, untainted by the later realities of the country. Line 4, which, I am told, comes to the mildest city. The speaker indicates that they now live in a mild city, one that is calm, gentle, and perhaps sheltered from the intense political or social turmoil that the homeland might be experiencing. The phrase I am told introduces a sense of separation between the speaker and their homeland, highlighting that their understanding of the situation is secondhand, based on reports rather than personal experience. This shows the distance that has grown between the speaker and their past, both physically and emotionally. Line 5. The worst news I receive of it cannot break. Despite hearing negative news about their homeland, the speaker claims that it cannot alter their view of it. The worst news, whether it is related to war, oppression, or suffering, does not change their idealized memory of the place. This suggests the resilience of the speaker's emotional connection to their homeland, as well as their determination to hold on to their personal vision of it, regardless of the harsh realities reported by others. Line 6. My original view, the bright, filled paperweight. The original view refers to the speaker's unchanging, idealized memory of their homeland. The metaphor the bright, filled paperweight suggests that their memory is both vivid and heavy, something that is permanent and inescapable. The bright part echoes the earlier description of the memory as sunlight clear, reinforcing the notion that the speaker's mental image of the country is filled with light and positivity, even if the reality has changed or deteriorated. Line 7. It may be at war, it may be sick with tyrants. The speaker acknowledges that their homeland might be experiencing hardship, such as war or tyranny, but this knowledge does not affect their memory of it. The use of it maybe shows that the speaker is uncertain, relying on second-hand information rather than direct experience. These phrases introduce the idea that, while the country may be struggling in reality, the speaker's memory remains unshaken and idealized, separated from the present suffering. Line 8. But I am branded by an impression of sunlight. The phrase branded by an impression suggests that the speaker's memory of the homeland is indelible, permanently etched into their identity. Sunlight is again used as a symbol of purity, warmth, and clarity, reinforcing that the speaker's vision of their homeland is one of innocence and beauty, uncorrupted by time or the difficult realities that may have followed their departure. This line emphasizes how deeply the speaker's idealized memory has influenced their sense of self and continues to shape their identity. Line 9. The white streets of that city, the graceful slopes. The speaker now provides a specific image of the city in their memory, describing white streets and graceful slopes. These details evoke a sense of beauty, cleanliness, and order, highlighting the idealized, almost perfect vision of the homeland that the speaker holds. The words white and graceful further enhance the purity and elegance of the memory, portraying the city as a place of harmony and peace. Line 10. Glow even clearer as time rolls its tanks. Despite the passage of time and the possible violence or conflict, tanks, the speaker's memory of the city glows even clearer. This line suggests that, as time passes and the external world becomes more tumultuous, the speaker's mental image of their homeland becomes even more vivid and distinct. The tanks could symbolize the destructive forces of war or conflict, but the speaker's memory remains unaffected, continuing to shine brightly in contrast to the darker events unfolding in the country. Line 11. And the frontiers rise between us, close like waves. This line symbolizes the growing distance and separation between the speaker and their homeland. The frontiers represent physical, political, or emotional barriers that rise up over time. The comparison to waves suggests that these barriers are constant and overwhelming, washing over the speaker and making the homeland feel increasingly distant and unreachable. The imagery of waves conveys a sense of inevitability and the relentless passage of time and separation. Line 12. That child's vocabulary I carried here. The speaker mentions that they have brought with them the language of their childhood, a vocabulary that represents the way they once understood and related to the world. This phrase suggests that the speaker's connection to their homeland is not only emotional but also linguistic. Their childhood language remains with them, but it also highlights the difficulty of maintaining a sense of identity in a foreign land, where that vocabulary might no longer fully serve them. Line 13. Like a hollow doll opens and spills a grammar. The hollow doll symbolizes the emptiness or inadequacy the speaker feels in relation to their language. The doll is hollow, suggesting that while they still carry the vocabulary from their childhood, it feels incomplete or insufficient in their current life. Spilling a grammar suggests that the language they brought with them is spilling out in an uncontrolled or fragmented way, highlighting the disconnection between the speaker's past and present self. Line 14. Soon I shall have every colored molecule of it. Despite the earlier sense of fragmentation, the speaker expresses a determination to reclaim and master the language of their homeland. The idea of having every colored molecule of it conveys a desire for full possession and understanding of the language, a complete recovery of their original identity and roots. The reference to colored implies that the speaker wishes to experience the richness and diversity of their homeland's language in all its forms. Line 15. It may by now be a lie, banned by the state. The speaker acknowledges that the language of their homeland might now be politically repressed or banned. This line underscores the tension between the idealized homeland in the speaker's memory and the reality of its present state. The language, once a symbol of identity and connection, might now be suppressed either because it is associated with dissent or because it represents a form of resistance to the current regime. Line 16. But I can't get it off my tongue. It tastes of sunlight. Despite the possibility that the language may be forbidden or distorted, the speaker cannot rid themselves of it. The language is on their tongue, suggesting that it is an integral part of their identity that they cannot escape. The taste of sunlight reinforces the deep emotional connection the speaker has to their homeland, evoking a sense of warmth and purity that continues to linger despite external attempts to suppress it. Line 17. I have no passport, there's no way back at all. This line conveys the speaker's feeling of permanent exile. They have no official means of returning to their homeland, highlighting the irrevocable separation between them and their past. The lack of a passport symbolizes the bureaucratic and physical barriers that prevent them from returning, reinforcing the sense of loss and isolation the speaker experiences. Line 18. But my city comes to me in its own white plane. In the absence of a physical passport or ability to return, the speaker's homeland still comes to them in their imagination. The white plane could symbolize a mental or emotional escape, where the speaker can travel back to their homeland in their mind. The use of white again evokes purity, suggesting that the speaker's memory of the city remains untainted by time or hardship. Line 19, it lies down in front of me, docile as paper. The speaker's memory of the city is described as docile as paper, suggesting that it is something soft, pliable, and easily shaped in the speaker's mind. The city, in this form, is under the speaker's control, free from the harsh realities of the present. It is also fragile, like paper, which suggests that this idealized vision could be easily torn apart by external factors, such as the harsh truth of the country's current situation. Line 20, I comb its hair and love its shining eyes. The speaker treats their memory of the city with tenderness and affection, as if it were a living being. The act of combing its hair and loving its shining eyes symbolizes the care and nostalgia the speaker feels for their homeland. These actions show how the speaker attempts to maintain and preserve the beauty and purity of their memory, even in exile. Line 21, my city takes me dancing through the city of walls. The speaker's memory of their homeland continues to provide an escape, as it takes me dancing through a city, a metaphor for the speaker's emotional journey. However, the city of walls represents the harsh, restrictive present that the speaker faces, possibly referring to their current life in exile or a metaphor for the oppressive political system of the homeland. Line 22, they accuse me of absence, they circle me. The speaker feels the weight of accusation and isolation, as they, likely referring to the people in the new place the speaker inhabits, accuse the speaker of absence or not fully belonging. The image of being circled suggests a sense of entrapment or alienation, as the speaker is surrounded by others who question their loyalty or identity. Line 23, they accuse me of being dark in their free city. The speaker is accused of being dark in a city that is supposedly free. This could refer to the speaker's foreignness, perceived as something negative or unsettling in a new place. The contrast between the freedom of the new city and the darkness the speaker feels highlights the tension between the speaker's memories and the reality they now face. Line 24, my city hides behind me. Despite the accusations, the speaker's homeland, represented as my city, remains a part of them. It hides behind the speaker, suggesting that their connection to their homeland is something they carry with them, even though it may not be immediately visible or acknowledged by others. Line 25, they mutter death, and my shadow falls as evidence of sunlight. In the final line, the they who have accused the speaker now mutter death, possibly indicating hostility or the threat of violence. However, the speaker's shadow continues to fall, symbolizing their unbroken connection to the homeland. The shadow, as evidence of sunlight, reinforces the idea that the speaker's memory of their homeland remains bright and alive, despite the darkness and hostility surrounding them. It serves as a reminder of the speaker's unshakable bond with their past.
About the poet. Carol Rumens was born on February 26, 1944, in London, England.
She is a renowned British poet, translator, and academic, known for her exploration of themes such as memory, exile, identity, and the complexities of human emotion. Rumens has published numerous poetry collections, including The King's House and The Walberswick Year, which have garnered critical acclaim for their lyrical style and depth of insight. Her work is often marked by a contemplative, reflective tone, and she frequently uses vivid imagery to convey the emotional weight of personal experiences and broader social issues. In addition to her poetry, Rumens has translated works from various languages, contributing to the literary landscape by making international voices more accessible. She has also been a teacher and academic, influencing generations of writers and poets. Through her versatile career, Rumens has established herself as a significant figure in contemporary British literature.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.